So basically we finished the library design. What you have to keep in mind is as soon as you start dealing with 3D packages, make your library a managed library, and don't miss to do this, and then you can work, you can edit, you can all the already existing footprints, get a 3D model assigned. The first step is a block, and then you can decide what to do. Would you like to generate a new one with the package generator? Do I have a step model from anywhere I would like to upload and use? And then so you can create libraries. If you have an existing project, an old one, then you do it a similar way. You could use the export function and export all the library objects from the schematic into libraries, or in one common library. You can decide what you want to do. And as soon as you have this library created, make it a managed library, and then you have to add step by step step models. So that's the way how you have to work with projects that come from older versions. Do you have any questions, concerns, proposals, comments?
Just wanted to ask about SumAccess.
SumAccess, yes.
Yeah, and the library. I mean, sort of story going on there, because I've got the ULP installed and I've used it a few times.
Okay.
It seems to work quite nicely.
Mm-hmm.
There seems to be some kind of official tie-up with them now, because they've got this.
The SumAccess guys are, I don't know if I can call it friends. No, it's not the direct, but they have good connections to NetBackry.
Yeah.
And I think that's the Fusion Electronics director. Sorry. Richard? Yeah? Hi. Hi.
This is an external library.
Yes.
It's a plugin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plugin.
Yeah.
SumAccess are currently which create free plugins.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's there.
And it just
Yes.
sort of creates an extended server.
Okay, then it's working.
Yeah.
It goes off in your files and you glance out the catalogue and scroll through and see.
And then some important into the license.
Steve, like Rick Wakeman, I meant. Sorry? Like Rick Wakeman, isn't it?
I got a phone going. Yeah, just.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. What else? Yeah, sorry.
Synthesizers. You just got racks and racks of keyboards.
Yeah. Doesn't it?
Oh,
Not yet. I contacted one of the guys who has to do with all the licensing things.
Yeah.
They will check the account and they will try to find out what happened. I have no reply yet. I sent an email to them and talked to them. As soon as I have a result, I talk to you, and then maybe and then we can try to find out what happened. Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
just a matter of linking it in with new.
Very good. That's cool. Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
But actually, once you've got it.
No problem. You're welcome. Okay.
Do it.
Bye bye.
Okay. Job done.
So, done. Most problems can be fixed with time. Okay, so library bug. Yeah, SumAccess. Yeah,
SumAccess,
that's
yeah.
something. Yeah, I think there's a kind of collaboration. That's true. I don't know how this will work out. I don't know if they want to have more real libraries added to Eagle, maybe in our repository, or that we can offer their libraries for something. Actually, we are in contact with a lot of component manufacturers. There is interest because they would like to have their products in Eagle, and that's something. Yeah, it's not really good running at the moment because we have a lot of other things we would like to do first. but there will come a time when we say, okay, now we have libraries from Panasonic, from Siemens, from whatever, because I think that makes sense. They would like to have all the new things, not spread it into the world, and the
Yeah.
best tool is their system to get it to the people. And there will happen something.
Yeah,
soon.
no, I've searched for a few parts using the Samaxis, and it seems to work okay.
Yeah, they have quite nice ports, yes.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I've got a couple of questions not related to library stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
It's completely random. One thing we get every so often is when there's a new version available,
Yeah.
it pops up and says, hey, a new wonderful version is available. Click here to start the process. We really, really don't want our students doing this because it just creates... Is there any way of turning that off?
No.
Please, can we have one? Because, you know, they can get quite far down the route
Yeah.
before they run out of access.
Yeah.
And it just creates
Yeah.
trouble.
Yeah, that's true. I understand. Yeah.
It would be really nice to be able to switch that off.
I can try. I
Yeah.
look forward to this yet, but
Yeah.
at the moment, because I know in the beginning it wasn't, and then we decided to add this information.
It's great to have, but it's
Yeah,
nice
it's good to
be
have,
able
but maybe you're right. Maybe we should try to have a kind of setting to say, don't
Indeed.
show me
Yeah,
updates or show me the updates every.
Yes, yeah.
No. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
The other one was, I spoke to you when we last met 18 months ago, whatever it was, about a command, and I haven't been able to find it again. Restring,
Restring. It's not the command. Yes.
but is
Yeah.
it still available? Is it still there? Because I couldn't see it.
It's no longer called restring because
fine.
it's
It's
it's something. It's a mixture of German and English.
Mm.
So it's the restring. In German we say restring. It's the same word. That's the coppering around the drilling, and this has a certain width.
Mm.
And if you say it's a whole circle, I drill in it, then there remains the rest of this ring. So that's I think we call it annular ring now. It's a setting in the design check. So if you go into the design
Because I was looking for it the other day under that name, and I couldn't see it anywhere. And I thought I'd gone there.
If you go into the design rules,
Uh,
there are annular ring. That's what I didn't explain to you, but of course I can, because if you have a through-hole component, you need a certain diameter for the drill, let's say 0.8 millimeters or 1 millimeter, depending. And of course I need some copper around this for soldering. And this here is the way how it is calculated. We use let's say we have 1 millimeter. If you go there, pads on top here. I have a 1 millimeter drill, and they say the annual ring is 25% of the diameter, a quarter of a millimeter, 0.25 millimeters. And now I can have some minimum and maximum values. The minimum value, okay, here is 10 mil, which would be slightly more, 0.254 millimeters. So that's the minimum. And you will get a pad with a diameter 1 millimeter plus 508, 1.508 millimeters minimum. If you would increase the drill, I need 2 millimeters, then I also have a maximum for this annual ring. And I can set this for the top layer, for the inner layers, and for the bottom layers. And that's a kind of dynamic parameter. So what you can do is, if you make a prototype, you first design, then you say a quarter of a millimeter. That's not enough for me for hand soldering, for example. I want to have more. Then I can change the parameters here, and you immediately will see the pads are getting bigger, and then you can do it manually better for soldering, for example. But of course you have to check the design rules about minimum distances, minimum clearances. And if I go back and go into industrial manufacturing, then I could set these values again to a value which makes sense. Usually these values are okay. So there are people that feeling around changing this, but as I said, normally simply use it. But it's no longer restoring.
No, that's why I could
Yeah.
find it, that's fine.
Yeah, our US colleague said, what is restoring? Nobody, they tried to say restring. But what is a restring?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a
And
far better
it was
term,
it was a bad idea to name it this way.
yeah. No,
That's in our German world. It's 30 years ago. Nobody knew that there are people living outside of the country. No, I think it was a good idea. And if you look into the maybe in the dictionary or something, then you find the correct translation, and you know, okay, that makes sense. But for you, it's yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
It's
fine.
done. That's the restrict. I don't know.
That's me done, thank you.
2 questions.
Well, I've asked about 20 on the last, yesterday, so that's all I had on my list.
Okay, cool. So, basically what I did not mention is the simulation in the schematic. Maybe I make a short, let's look very quick into it, just that you have seen what it is about. Who is the expert in simulation? You are the expert in simulation. No. I need an expert. Okay, just let me clean up a bit. No, that's the wrong. Go into schematic. What I want to show, we have some examples just to play around a bit. Now I simply load, then I go into the control panel. We have the projects, and there is something ngSpice, that's the simulator we use for simulation. There are a big number of simulators, they all based on the Berkeley Spice, more or less the same. And if I look into, I don't know, in one of these, converted, Spice converted, what is it? No. Yeah, I just pick out. No, I don't like this one.
Diode, do a diode.
Oh, this one, yeah, okay. Okay, so that's an example. So if you draw your schematic, then you have, if you want to do simulation, you have to add a SPICE model. We have a library for diodes, resistors, and so there are some model already assigned. And then I have to place some probes. What do I want to know? I would like to know the voltage, the phase, what's happening in the signal. And so that's what we have here. If I click on on the nets, you see I can add a phase or a voltage probe, for example. So I have different options here. It's the main. I can add a model to a component. If I would click here and say that, I know, because that indicates a change in the file. No, okay, I can't do it. I can't change it. But you could assign a model. There you get. We have seen it in the SPICE folder. There's some models are already there. You could also add some of the internet. If you ask me which models, I am very honest, I do not know exactly. There are different encrypted models, there are models that are in plain text and this and that. So that's something I think you already now find in the manuals. I have a section for simulation now. Or you look, we have a series of 6 videos, each about 5 minutes or something like this, where we explain how this works. And we will have some for the digital and Bitsboard simulation soon. Just how to start it. If you have done your schematic, you have set your probes, simply click here and say simulate. What happens? I get the configuration window. What do I want to simulate? We have different types of simulation. Operating point, TC3, base TC3 present. So I don't know if I have to add a. No, I don't have to add a menu if I do this one. I can, just before we start, I have the net list. So here I see the nets in my in my schematic. No output yet because I haven't simulated, so I just click here simulate. It's testing and loading something. Here we have a plot of the simulation. I see the different signals here. If I go into my graph here, you see if I move the mouse, the values change, and I can check what happens. I could also simply choose a short portion of this. I could also go from here to there, so I can really zoom in, and I can refresh and go back again. So I think, I'm not sure if it does the simulation down here, it seems to be. Here I'm back again. I can also change the values here. I can take out signals. I don't want to see this one, I don't want to see that one. Apply changes, so this will vanish and it's hidden. And so I see what happens. One of the new things is in 9.2, you can set what I see here in my list on the right hand side of the small menu. I can set the values, I can see the values directly in the schematic as well. So this will be updated. What I can't do yet is what you suggested, to change the value now of a resistor. What I have to do is, I have to close simulation. I have to change the value of the resistor, and then I do the simulation again. I have no, it might be possible that I can compare different simulation results from 9.2, or I'm not sure now. Because there are sometimes, because then I can compare the plots and see the differences. Yes, so that's something which can be done. And what we also will have, I don't have it here, digital simulation from next week on. Or from, yes, next week, this week on. What do we, 26? I think it will be released tomorrow, the new version. So that's basically what you see, and it's quite nice in the state as it is here now. It's not very helpful because it's limited to analog simulation. I'm not sure, but there's a lot more digital stuff around. So I think this will really help. And there are a lot of plans what that will happen. Just yesterday I read a short note. It was this size, what the guy who is doing all the stuff want to do. So there are two people working on this actually. And yes, we will have more soon, but I don't know what it is. There we have to wait a bit. That's basically the simulation. As I said, we have nice videos. If you go on to just a little bit YouTube, you see it's the Eagle Cancer Computer. This was the channel was made to 10-15 years ago, no, 10 years ago. The name is still the same, but we have a short link where we do not see the Eagle Cancer Computer. And then we have a number of videos. I think if I go to the playlist, this was new creating parts and libraries. Simulation. That's something, that's 4 or 5 minutes, a number of videos where we explain how this works. I think that's quite nice. The YouTube channel is really, meanwhile, a good source for information, especially for new things. So if you have a new command, tomorrow, the fan out command, for example, we will have a 2 or 3 minute video where you see how it works. And the plan also is we have the manual printed, now it's a PDF manual, which was used to be printed some years ago. We don't do this anymore because it doesn't make sense, because the changes are too often. And I always try to keep up with the new functions. It's not possible. I can't do it. It's. I'm happy that I have a section about simulation, and I'm happy there's a first chapter where the topic is what's new and easy. So you get 3 to 5 lines short information about the new command. And yes, anyone later I will try to add it anywhere. But the next step would be I had to change all the images because the interface changed. There's so many changes. So it's basically a new manual you have to go. Yeah, this will last a bit, and the plan is to have it not as a PDF, but the trend goes to do it online anywhere. So you have access from everywhere, and we can implement links to videos, or we can simply add videos, or we can have some animated GIFs or whatever. So yeah, so we will change this. I think the next year there will be a new kind of documentation for it. Okay. What else? Yeah, what I wanted to show you just more is we're finishing then, so we need a coffee break and you want to go home. So I will do some general stuff about, for example, the user language programs. I mentioned them sometimes. I said it's something which helps you in doing your job. If I go there, we have user language programs and the examples. The easiest one is Count ULP. You don't need it anymore because all the information is already there. You have seen the manufacturing flyout and so on. But just to show you how does it look like, I open it with the text editor. It's good. Yeah, okay, hardly readable, but it's a C-like programming language. And you say, set some variables, and then I say, okay, if I'm in the board, if board, then I'm the board context, and the board has holes, the counter holes. And in the board are elements, and the elements have packages, and the packages have holes, and then I count them, and there are not only holes, there also could be contacts, as we have pads or SMBs in the counters. So, and then have signals. I also want to count the signals, and I have a result, and I print this result into this number of. This is the board, and then I have a small dialog. We have some functionality to create dialogues. We say, okay, that's the dialog. That's the layout. How does it look like? There's vertical words on the and so on. And then some spacing, and then I have this filled in, and I have the option to save this. And so that's the kind of how it looks like. And if I start the ULP, for example, in a board, I don't have a board open. That's not so good. So let me check to search for one. I don't know what it is. Just an example. So, how do I run a ULP? There's a run command, or I simply click here onto this ULP icon. Then I can search for something. Okay, I have to go into the examples folder. In this case, I know it's the count ULP. Short description. Say okay. So that's a very simple example. That's what I have. Yeah, that's the information. Okay, that's it. And if I say okay, now I can save this as a text file, and that's it. So that's a very simple one. They're more sophisticated. If I go, for example, back into the schematic, do I have a schematic for this? No, I don't have a schematic for this. I can also start it from here. There's the design link ULP. I mentioned this. I can check availability of components. It would be good to start it from a schematic. So I jump around from here to there. Simple schematic. Now I start the design link ULP. There are two options. I take the general option because I want to search for something. what happens now? I can type in a LN555, for example, and now I want to search for it. Okay, very good. Transferring that request. Why? We are. Okay, what should have happened? The ULP connects to this LN14 API website. I ask for this component and I get back the information if it's available, what is it and so on. Why doesn't it work? So let me think, I'm sitting in the UK now. I think that could be a problem. Let me check something else. It's not working. Okay, so a second, if it does not work, then I'll show you now. Let's see if this helps. I think this won't help. E266 something else. No, don't like me. This one is already open. No. Okay, it doesn't work. There could be two problems. Could be a phonemic problem, could be anything here, I'm not sure. Could also be a language setting, because I know that the ULP decides operating system, I don't know. Okay, that's not what I wanted to show you. Okay, yeah, that's the typical effect if you want to show something. Let me try something else. PCB code, let's see like this. That's something, it's also, it has been developed some years ago. What we want to do is collect all the data a board manufacturer needs so that he can make a quote for you. I try it here. Okay, the Fanel website is available. So we have fabrication service, assembly service. So I say start quote. This was developed together with Fanel some time ago. Now I can choose Royal Circuits Better Worksheets or Royal Circuits. And what now happens is that I transfer this information to the board manufacturer and they make a quote for me. Here you are. Please no, but that's not a quote. Place an order. No. You should use ULPs that really show something. No. Okay.
And how many of the ULPs are up to date? I mean, I've only used one or two, just sort of as and when, but you know, I always suspect that there's a lot more that I've never sort of experienced with. The one I use is the board outline, which is great, to import board outline. Another one that I found useful, I think, is if I want to change all
names of the components?
No, change the width of lots of different tracks at once. There's a really good ULP for that.
Yes, for example. So let's do the basic things. I wanted to show the two ULPs because they have a quite nice interface, quite nice dialogue, but it didn't work. I don't know why. But okay, if I go to the ULP again, you have to read and check what could I use. It's for example, the CMD change board width. This is something I can use to change the width of certain signals, certain traces. If I choose it, say OK, I get the dialog. And now he asks me, what do you want to change? Which signal do you want to change? Let's take N$13, that's prominent one here. I add it here to the signals to change. I can also add all. And of course I can then change a new width for the trace. I think it's a millimeter. I will use 1 millimeter just to have that you will see something. I could also say if a signal ground signal has different widths, I have a small part which is half a millimeter, there is a part which is maybe a quarter of a millimeter because it's smaller there, then I could use this to decide which part should be changed. I leave it as it is and simply say, okay, so what happens? Yeah, you have seen a bit, it's bigger now, the whole signal. If I would do this manually, okay, I would have to do it the following. I use the change command and click on all the sections. Or what I could do else now is I use the root command and use a different width. Start here and simply root it again. Because now I can simply root and it's really replaced more or less, so it's also possible. But you have also to do this here and there and there. Okay, easiest way, take the ULP. It could also, let me check if this works. If I go to Endnote 13, it's now selected. Select an editor, I can rip up the signal. I would like to try. I don't know if it works, just to try, because that's one of the goals we want to have, that you also can use the design manager for all of the commands. I say select an editor, now it's selected. Now I use the change command, use width. Let's decrease the size. Now it's 0.2. Now I should do a control right click. Yes, no, yes.
Yeah.
It's small now. You only see that's the DOC error point.
Yeah.
But that's possible now. So it's not.
That's a far easier way
We
of doing
do
it.
not need all the ULPs.
No.
All the ULPs were written, because somebody needed this functionality. Now we don't have it, so we make a ULP for this. Meanwhile, we have some of the functionality directly legal, as we have seen here with the design manager. So I don't need it. But of course, we don't want to delete it because it's quite nice to have it. I mean, look into it. Maybe we should clean up a bit and check what makes sense now, what does not make sense.
So for example, if a student came to me and they'd routed their PCB all with 0.1 millimeter wide tracks, which happens, can I select all traces with the design manager?
Yeah, you think you do this one?
Okay, yeah.
Select an editor. Let's try.
Okay, and change
And now we do, what did you say?
width.
0.1 or something like
Yeah, it
this.
doesn't matter, yeah.
And then control right click.
No, it says click left.
Yes.
Yeah, it does it, yeah.
You see? Okay, that's
Yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah.
really good.
That's something which you probably see in other tools, especially I think in Altium.
That's a big change, isn't it? That's what
And that's the reason why our guys said, okay, we want to have this, because sometimes it's much more easier to select in a list
Absolutely,
and not
yeah.
go into the designer and search for the traces. Yeah. So this works. Okay. Other ULPs. I think it does not make sense to go through the ULPs now and check this is there, that is there. I would say if you need the functioning EDL, you do not find, look for a ULP. It might be one that you can use. There's some things like we used to, it's still there. If you want to change the layer of a polygon or something like this from here to there, that's something you couldn't do in EDL. Now it's possible. Or what's quite nice, I didn't show you, this can help. You see we have the polygons here. If I do a right click on a polygon, I can convert it to wires. So if you have, for example, a board contour drawn, and you want to have this filled totally with copper, I say convert it into a polygon, and then I have the option replace or copy. In this case I have to say copy. So I have the board contour in layer 20, I get the polygon, and then I can say put it in layer 1 or 16 or something like this, and then I have made a polygon out of this. The second copy. Now I have simply the wires around, and if I have wires, I can also make a polygon out of this, convert to polygon. That's in the case. Now back in the polygon. So that's something. Yeah, if you import something as a drawing DXF, typically, and then I would like to make a polygon out of it. That's not possible because the DXF only has the contour, so I can't make a polygon out of it. Yeah, that's again your piece. Let me check. That's something I do not remember the part of something. We use it, for example, for importing something. So I have import bitmap or import DXF. These two are also available in the file import or file export menu. I can import Java data, for example. If somebody has manufacturing data, you can import it. It's limited, but in a lot of cases it works pretty well, so that I get the contour of the board, for example, or something like this. The Axel imported something, yes, was done some time ago, where we can import files from Altium or from Piquet or from Protel. That's also, we have new options now. I think it's done on Library.io. There I can already import Altium libraries, and they are converted into EUI format. And there will come some things more so that we are more flexible here. Or if you need special formats, IPC D356, that's an output format, for example. Yeah, this was one of the first tries where we say, show me the length of the signals in the board, for example. Now I have the meander command. I can click on it and measure directly in the program. I have the mill outlines. That's quite interesting. If you have a milling machine, you could make milling data. If I start, I don't know if it works now. Okay, so I have problems now with the DRC. It tells me I changed the tool, doesn't make sense here. That's the dialog. You can create data in HPGL for easel machine, CNC format, or a script format as well. If I would use script, I see what happens in the milling machine. Then I have to decide about, the tool number one for isolation. I leave it as it is, I don't know if it works because it needs a bit of setting. Value comma dimension is bigger than the whatever, let's accept it. Now what happens? We draw unknown layer 1, okay. Okay, that's the file. So what we see here, let me just go down. What we see here, this is the contour you have to mill on the top layer. That's the pour, the filling, if you want to have it. And what's this? That's milling it out of your panel, so to say. See small gaps, so you can break it out afterwards. And we have the same for the bottom side. Okay, that's all. Basically the same. So I made a script now, but if I use CNC, for example, then you can CNC data, you can feed a milling machine, and you can mill out the board line. So it's quite often used. It works pretty well. Something that people use if they have a small milling tool at home. You could send it them to the big one. But I think I have no access to that. Okay, yes, just what we can. What else? what you can, that's for example a connection to PCB Sim. That's also a simulation program. Was done some years ago. PCB Sim does analog simulation, digital simulation. It's up to antenna design, all the stuff. The guy who made this ULP, he's the master of the PCB Sim, and he was looking for a schematic entry tool for his simulation, and then he found Eagle. He came to us that I want to have the connection with it. If I would have this PCB Sim installed and I would run the user language program, I get context menus in Eagle from where I can start the simulation in the other tool. So it's really a very tight connection between PCB Sim and Eagle. Yeah, what else? Import, yeah, that's in the import.
I was just going to say the bitmap or bringing in a logo.
The import bitmap is for importing a logo, but the bitmap file has to be two colors. It has to be black and white. Because if we would have more colors, each color needs a layer in Eagle.
Okay.
So if you have a normal, and even if it looks black and white, it's typically 256 colors minimum, and we have 255 layers available. So this won't work. You won't bring it in. But it must really be black and white. Then it works. If I start it, let me import bitmap. Yeah, blah blah blah. It says that you need the. Okay, I have to select the bitmap. The design code. I think this might. No, this doesn't work. Yeah. There you go. Let's try it this way. Say open. Yes, that's the problem. More than 6 colors. If you have black and white, you can decide about the size. You can scale it in the ULP. And the problem with bitmap is that you have pixels. And we try to optimize and say if pixels are in a row, we make a line of it. But you get a lot of objects, and if you want to use a logo in a board or something like this, then import it into the library as a package, and then bring it into the board, because then it's one object I can move around. Otherwise, I have to move all the lines. And if you need different sizes, okay, import 2, 3, 4, 5 times in different sizes, and then you can decide to use this or that. So it's a very, very simple approach we have there, because I'm sure we'll have something better soon. There are some ideas how we can do this, especially for schematics. There it would be nice sometimes to have a kind of image or the graph of the simulation, for example, something like this. There are ideas where I say, okay, I place a container and there I put in the image. So I don't need to use the drawing layers in Eagle, but something else. But that's plans for later. Okay. So that's about ULPs. And the other thing we have is the script files. You've seen I've sometimes typed something in the command line, and of course each command I'm using in Eagle, if it's add or wire or name or whatever, copy or paste, you can also type it always. You can create a schematic and a board in a text file, in a script file. And if I look into script files, okay. For example, the euro, very nice. I draw. Okay, if I run it, that doesn't make sense because it's drawn here. If I start and click OK, it draws me. Should be a board in euro part size, but I wanted to show you how it looks like. So I go into the control panel. this was wrong. Okay, go up. Close this. Go to the scripts, examples. It looks like. It looks like this. So I have a grid setting, 1 millimeter. I've set my event. That's the blend style, 90 degrees direct or something like this. I decided about the layer. I can say layer top here. Then I use the wire command. You can also use the line. It's the same command. And then I have 2 as the width. And then I have coordinates. Draw from here to there, from here to there, from here to there, and so on. So then I go into bottom layer, draw something like this. So you can have all the commands in the command line. And if you would like to know how this works, each command has, of course, a help in the program. And if you look into the manual, by the way, how to get the manual, I'm into control center, use help and go to documentation. There we simply open the file browser and there we have a manual in PDF. And if I go down and search for configuration command language, yeah, there are a number of examples what you can do. Each mouse click you have, you can write into the command line. You also have, if you do a left click, I write a simple coordinate. If you do a right click, I need a modifier in the coordinates. I think it's the greater sign, and then it's a right click. I have different commands with different combinations. There's a difference if I use delete or I could use shift delete. Delete deletes one vertex of a polygon. If I use shift delete on a polygon, the whole polygon is deleted in one step. And if I use shift, I have to write the S into the coordinates. So if you would like to write such a script file, then think what would I do in Eagle. I select the command and I use left click to click anywhere. And that's exactly what you have to do to write. I use the command delete and then the coordinate where to click to. If I need a modifier, Alt or Shift or all 3 of them, then I use delete, parenthesis ASC, greater sign, coordinates, and class degree. So there are a lot of examples in the manual you have to look into the help for the commands. There you find all the options. We have seen the pin command. I write pin in single quotes the name, and then I use middle, clock, IO, whatever. I have all these options and can write it down. So that's what we do in the script file. And one more thing about file formats. If you look into a board file, for example, board files or board and schematic are readable. So it's XML format. No, want to open it. So that's how such a file looks like. Let me view collapse all files. So it's structured. Okay, it's an old file. It's version 7.7, but it's similar to the new file format. If I open it, yes, I have Eagle drawing. Then I have the grid. This is something that's saved in the board file. And of course I use layers there. Then I get the list of layers. What is in this file? There are also the schematic layers. Don't ask me why. Why do we have? Yeah, it's a schematic. So, and we have of course the board layers in the schematic because the whole library definition is in the schematic file. So we have also the packages in the schematic. Okay, then I go on. Then we have the schematic, and we have different sections for the libraries. So here I can see what are the libraries I've used. Frames, holes, supply. If I open such a library, I see, okay, I took package device sets. No package because it's the frames library, but there's a symbol. It's these two symbols are used. So all the information is there. You can find everything. I have attributes maybe. No, I don't have some. I have red. No variants. I have some classes. No, I have no classes defined. I have the parts. Here's the list of parts I have in my schematic. So it's structured. And what a lot of people do, especially the maker people, they edit the files. Because it's sometimes much easier to do it if you know what you do. But if you're familiar with the XML format, it's really easy to do changes. And I sometimes get files from customers that say, I can't load it, especially 7 or old files. Can't load it in the new version, there's an error message. It's so simple, look into it and see, okay, there's something. Sometimes we have problems with, maybe, I don't know, the special character you can't work with, and you simply delete it, set another name, it's working, so that's very easy to do. Yesterday I had a post in the forum, it was similar, he said, hey, I would like to have 2 different variants of a package, with and without soda stop. And depending on what I'm doing, I want to use this or that. And they come, yeah, of course you can have 2 variants, then you have to change this in the board, you have to do replace or something like this, or package command. And then he said, oh, I use ACD. It's, do you know ACD? It's a simple, no it's not, it's a Linux text editor for find and replace. And I simply say ACD, old variant, new variant, run it, it's 1 mouse click and it's done. Yeah, that's true, it's possible.
Yeah.
So when we changed until version 5, we had a binary file format, which was, yeah, it was more tight, yeah. But we needed a new structure because the binary data structure, we didn't have space for new things. And then we decided to go to XML, and when we had the first version with XML, especially the people came to say, hey, that's great, we can now edit. It was very good, and it's no problem to go from a Mac computer to Windows or Linux or something like this. This was a problem in earlier times, the old Macs. You have another encoding,
Yeah.
so you always had to convert. Not manually, but you have to do it internally, and if they have a problem, then yeah, the risk that something goes wrong is much higher as it is now. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to tell you. I could tell you much more, but I think it's okay for now. We can have a short break. If you have questions, feel free to do so. I don't know for how long we have planned today, I have to look it up, but let's have an extended coffee break.